Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and I am the head of a movement called the mantista movement, which is a combination of tantric Buddhism and shamanism with a touch of galactic shamanism. Um, you're welcome to join. You actually can join free of charge by just doing one mantra. And you don't have to declare yourself a mantrista. Mantras have been around for centuries and they're very effective. The problem is that what we have seen mainly for mantras at this part of the world are the spiritual ones, the ones that help you to connect more with God, to be more spiritual, very generic. And my interest is in that your daily life be better, that your kids be better, that you achieve your intentions on the physical dimension and also the other dimensions. You should take care of that also, but that's not my job. My job is to teach you about the other dimensions, and then you make your choices. So our mantras are different, and I call them point specific mantras. So that's my introduction. I also have a degree from the University of Miami, and I also built a business, ran it for 30 years, turned it over to somebody much more competent than me. 55 years later, it's still running and doing very well. So I know the business world, I know the world of money, I know the world of metaphysics. I'm a mind control victim, and I was sex trafficked since forever. You don't want to know. I'm getting a little impatient with the sex trafficking information, but I'm going to give you some information in a few minutes. A lot of people are not going to be happy with the information, but honestly, this needs to get taken care of because many of us, if not the entire planet, is waiting for that information in order to move forward. Some people, I don't know why they're waiting. I know why I'm waiting because the bad guys are still around. Because it's an ancestral. You can have ancestral curses, but you also can have ancestral business setups, and definitely sex trafficking is that. So let's go ahead and start with, I'm trying to be organized, our section on astrology. We have an eclipse coming up on the 7th to the 8th of September 2025, depending upon where you live, you'll get hit by the eclipse. 85% of the planet is going to be able to see the eclipse, not the United States. Oh, we're deprived. No, we got hit by two eclipses. What, a couple years ago? Texas, where they crisscrossed, different dates where they crisscrossed, and man, eclipses are to warn you, they're to shake stuff up so that you look at stuff, you take care of it. And if you don't take care of it, the eclipse is going to take it away from you. If you should have left that guy or finished with the business or changed the country you live in, and you don't because it's too much work, you don't want to hurt people, it's too much work, you don't have the money, you can't afford to do that, the eclipse will take care of it for you. So you should take care of it. Check, this is a pretty positive eclipse. The only problem is, and there's a statement in the Bible separating the wheat from the chaff, that's what happens between the 7th and the 8th. There'll be a big division between people who purified, so their frequency is very light and they can rise up, and the people that didn't. The people that don't think that emotions are important, the people that think that just because they got beat up as a child or they got sexually abused or their country went through a revolution and all of a sudden from one day to the next they were running from the enemy, they didn't clear that. They were strong, they had post-traumatic stress syndrome, but they continued forward. Well, where's your reaction to that? It's inside your mind, which is inside your aura, and it weighs a lot. So trolley on quickly to be clearing traumas. Oh yeah, but it doesn't bother me anymore. No, but on the physical dimension you don't know anything about yourself. It's the other dimensions that determine your frequency, not the smile on your face. So that eclipse is very important, but you can't wait till the day before. You should have been purifying before. Do not bother going to the mental health professionals because they really don't know anything about that. But we're not going to go into whose fault it is because I honestly don't know whose fault it is. Probably the same people that have us in a cheesy about the whole sex trafficking thing. Let's go over the US map because it looks really good. Let's pull it up here. Here we go. Now, that line that was black several days ago on the West Coast or near the West Coast is now blue. So there's been improvement there. I also don't see those ripples in red that we had the last time. Let me see if I can pull that map up. I think this is it. There. That was the last one I did, the 26. You see, Pacific Portal was not in a good place. That jaggedy line was black. Now it's blue. So let's go back to today's map, which I just did a few minutes ago. The Pacific Portal does not seem to be shaking us up. The jaggedy line is blue. We still are grounding love. We have the whole East Coast is green. That's the color of the heart. It's a color of healing. For some people, it's the color of money. Looks really good. Then we have Texas looking mainly good, but there's one place, and I don't know what city would be near there, but Elon has an enemy there that is very organized. Now, going back to here, in terms of putting the map on top of the human body and then putting it on top of the 3,000-year-old Bagua map that is used in feng shui, Texas is the coccyx of the country. And it turns out that the coccyx in the country, guess what? The bad guys know all about it. It's a core part of mind control. I just found out about it a couple weeks ago, and I'm working as fast as I can to get the information, to put it together in to where it kind of makes sense and that you can address it. For now, I'm doing a service that will purify your coccyx. We mean we cut off all the matrix implants. There's a minimum of 17 in all our coccyx, and then you have the parasites and then other stuff that I don't know yet. So you might want to sign up for that. It's $40. It can make a huge difference. But I'm not here to sell the service. I'm here just to give you information. I adjust my office having to do with information and services that I can give you that can make a big difference in your life. There's an issue that we should all have, but I had because I was in the mind control program. They don't allow inefficiencies there. No, 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 no. Like I would bring that back information when I was a kid and they'd say, so? And I'd say, but you just asked me the question. This is the answer. And they'd go, yeah, how's that going to help us? You asked the question. How's that going to help us? I've had some clients that have done that. Anyway, so information that I bring forward has to be useful, or why even bother? There is so much information. So the map looks great, honestly. And you go, well, what about Mexico? If it's not popping, it's because it's okay. It should be kind of the same as before, which is Mexico is going to be doing really good. No, Mexico's a mess. You are emphasizing the physical dimension. Physical dimension is a manifestation of what already happened in the other dimensions. We want the other dimensions in case we don't want that to happen, to manifest on the physical. Next. I don't want to say this. That's why I haven't done another chat. I do not want to say this. I mapped Pam Bondi. And unfortunately, at the top, these are the mind maps and these are the people that have control over her. I have this map. That's how it all started with me. This map, my handler, Rene de Villegas, and how he had a lot of us under control. And I've mapped other people and found interesting information that I've shared with you. I decided for me to map Pam Bondi. Well, unfortunately, she's a mind control. I'm not sure she's a mind control victim. She's part of the mind control program. Now, I have to tell you something. Being accurate is really important for me. It's actually everything for me. It's not easy sometimes. Do I share this? Do I not share this? You know why I didn't want to share this? I did not want to break Trump's heart. I didn't want to break his heart. The same way my heart has been broken by all the people around me that have done god-awful things that are mind control victims. But you know what? They're mind control victims. And they could be part of the hierarchy of mind control, but that doesn't mean they would have ever agreed to any of this if they weren't threatened and blackmailed. Back to the map, the mind map of Pam Bondi. See, her name is supposed to be there where it's black, but I did not get this to my graphic artist. At the top it says, we thought that the movie Matrix was fiction, when in reality, it's a map of secret implants that control you. because this was not for Pam Bondi or for anybody. This was something that I discovered that I was trying to show my family. And then at the bottom it says, maybe you have implants. And then it says Francis Fox and the mantista movement continues to investigate. Back to Pam Bondi. So Pam Bondi, this is her mind map. At the top left, which is air, which is connects to off planet, connects to mind, thoughts, you have Schiff. Look at who's underneath Schiff. Scalia, the Supreme Court judge. I don't know anything about this man. I would never put it, I would never, if I'm going to invent something, I would not put that name there. The guy's dead. How did he die? Well, we all know that it was kind of interesting. All this group, supposedly from a major university, secret society, and they went hunting and the guy died. Well, I'm not so sure now with this information that the guy just simply died. But the fact that he was there is a little bit problematic. The fact that he's on this map with Pam Bondi is a problem. Now, guess where he's from? New Jersey. New Jersey. How many people do we have there that are caught up, victim or masters of the mind control program? My handler, Rene de Villegas, is from New Jersey. Well, that's got to be a total coincidence. No, it's not. How close are those towns to each other where they lived? Where did it start? Well, it didn't start in this generation. It's ancestral. So it would have started from before. But I suspect that if you track, what's the name of the Supreme Court judge? Scalia. You start beating the bushes, you're going to find out a lot of interesting things. Am I accusing anything of anybody? No. I'm doing what your government taught me to do. I want to be free. I want my family to be free. I want my grandkids to be free. I want us to have free will, which God supposedly, number one rule of the planet. And if the mind control stuff were kind of working, and at 25% of the time, all of us were happy, and this other 75% we're doing what other people want us to do, you know what? I think I would have let this go. No. That's not the way it is. You end up doing stuff you would have never done. And then you spend the rest of your life not even wanting to deal with it because you're so ashamed. And that shame stops you from doing your therapy. Back to the map. So we have on Pam Bondi, Schiff at the top. Now, if he's still there, we have Scalia underneath with the question mark. I don't know what the question mark is about, but maybe it was me saying, wait a minute, why the hell am I getting this name? And then underneath, it has a note, prostitution, sex trafficking, gatekeeper. And that's Pam Bondi. Now, do you know how many people Trump are going to get happy that this is revealed? That they want to say, Trump, we told you. A lot of people are looking at it and going, this doesn't make any sense. And she is certainly behaving like a gatekeeper. That is not enough to condemn anybody. By the way, we shouldn't condemn anybody. Please don't call yourself a Christian and start condemning people, even if they do bad things. Don't do that. It doesn't make resonance. It's not, what is it called? You're lacking cognitive resonance. There's another statement. I can't remember what it is. I do 2 languages, and they're doing a lot of programming so that I mix things up, and I don't sound intelligent, so I can't string things together. I can barely type, and I thought it was the 2 languages, but it's programming. So when I'm hesitant, do I have to go back and say, wait a second, still a victim of mind control. So Pam Bondi, how painful is this? Darn, I think it's kind of obvious. And it's here, and I was sketching Pam Bondi, but you know what? I did something before that made me sketch her, but I don't remember. I'm trying to see if I can find what it was that I sketched that her name came up. Or maybe it was my pure rage at still being in a dangerous situation because there's something holding back the tidal wave of information. Yes, Trump, We may collapse, but we're going to collapse at some point. Why don't you ride with the energies of this eclipse? Don't let the eclipse make this happen for you, Trump, because the eclipse will do it and then you end up looking bad. And I know, and other people will not agree, maybe. This breaks your heart. Has it broken my heart, the things that I remembered that I did under mind control that I hope never comes out? So broken hearts are part of the package with mind control. People, so much goes on. So back there, I'm going to review it again. I sketched Pam Bondi. The reason that's blacked out is because this is a piece of paper that I need to change over to English, and I need to have that little black space blank, but I haven't been able to do it. I'm doing a lot of stuff. All at the same time, I'm trying to earn a living, okay? Pam Bondi. The first thing I sketch is Schiff at the top. Yeah, he's at the top of the heap. And then Scalia, I haven't thought of him other than when he was in the news because he died mysteriously. But he's from New Jersey. There's got to be some kind of a portal there or something. Underneath it, it says implante corazón. We all have implants in our heart. And on the other side, it says implante hígado. We all have implants in our liver. On Mondays at 5, if you join us or you look at it afterwards on YouTube, I give a healing of that. I cut the liver implants. Okay. And then over Pam Bondi's name, I got prostitution, sex trafficking, gatekeeper. And now I'm going to drop that. The ball's in your court. It's going to come out anyway. Why don't you handle it? And I think everybody should do the mantra. Please, God, help us with our intention to gracefully. Oh, hold on. This mantra. Please, God, help us with our intention that revelations about sex trafficking be miraculously graceful. Now, why don't I put my music, my mantista music, plus this up, because YouTube takes it down and says some blooming idiot, they use a name. I'm going to tell you exactly the name. The name, Facebook is committed. Oh, this is Facebook. See, I mix up YouTube and Facebook. Is committed, and YouTube does it too. Committed to protecting everybody's intellectual property. So we're letting you know that your video contains material you may not have the rights to. DistroKid Rights Manager claimed ad earnings on your video. And 192 countries will not be seeing your video. So I can't put up my mantista music until, by the way, who is going to take these social media companies, charge them with RICO charges, RICO, whatever the hell that is. But apparently the people that are doing whatever to me currently are going to be facing RICO charges, whatever the hell that is. But I understand that when you say RICO, people go, oh my God. So you know what? Oh my God should happen to the social media platforms. Because that was Facebook. And see the way I mixed the names? Remember, I've told you since I started, they don't want me to remember names. Okay? And please don't use that as an excuse to not believe when I put down Pam Bondi and Scalia. That's doesn't apply because I triple checked that. I was like, oh my God, I don't want this. Continuing on. I want to congratulate Trump. Elon pointed out something in one of his off-the-cuff comments. He said in the company, all the vectors need to be pointed in the same direction. Those vectors are our holy grail that's inside of us. When you have an intention, that holy grail that looks like a holy grail changes shape into vectors that point towards your intentions. So, Trump, I want to congratulate you because in the United States, increasingly, the vectors are pointing in the same direction. And that's why you can get a map that looks like this. Yes, there's some issues. Elon's got an enemy. There's still a break there. It's repairing. All the vectors are pointing in the same direction. I'm going to tell you that when I work with people, and it's more than one, like a couple, it's usually never more than two because that's like impossible. One of the first things I take care of is the intention. And a lot of times the intention is different in the two people that are making decisions. Their vectors are pointed in different directions. Now, if you get a martial artist and they break a concrete block with their hand, which is totally impossible in the physical dimension, but they do it and we accept it, it's because they only have one vector pointed towards that concrete block. But this country, we are now all pointed in the same direction. So maybe that is why the eclipse on the 7th and the 8th is not going to be seen from the United States. Maybe we don't need an eclipse to come and pull the rug out from under us because we're pointed in the same direction. So I just have a piece of advice on this, Trump. Don't let people's criticism get to you. You want everybody to love you. And honestly, the important people do, and most of the people do, especially as they see the results. There's always going to be haters. Don't waste energy using too much energy reacting to those haters, even if it's just a broken heart. Do not allow the broken heart about Palm Bondi to affect you. Do a mantra. Even though my heart is broken, I love and accept myself. And don't think that everybody's going to look at you and say, what the hell's the matter with Trump? He always has these bad people around him. Doesn't he have any judgment? I'm telling you, this mind control thing is pervasive and we all look fine. When I started to say that I was a mind control victim and I didn't even tell them what I was involved in, people went ahead and immediately declared me as mentally ill. They couldn't take it. You know what they couldn't take? They couldn't take the fact that I was there amongst them looking like a regular person. And then this comes up. And they didn't even know the stuff. They just couldn't take it because it was like a slap in the face to them. But it's so insidious. And that's why it's actually one of the reasons why if life on the planet ends, or we divide into two planets and a ton of people get left behind, it's because how overwhelming it is and how much it goes against human nature. The fact that you, Trump, didn't know and others around you did not know only means that the mind control is incredibly effective. Nothing to be ashamed at because you can work. I didn't wake up till I was 50, 40 some. Nobody in my family knew. So it's like, oh my God, how do I deal with this? How does this fit into my paradigm? It doesn't. It's okay, Trump. First place, you can do it. But the emotions are a big component. So do your mantra, even though it breaks my heart. I love and accept myself. And then I want to say this. This is supposed to be a Christian nation. Okay, what would Jesus Christ do? I'm not talking about Pam Bondi. All these bad people, what would Jesus Christ have done? Well, he wasn't around then. Okay, well, you know what? If he wasn't around then, and you don't think you should call him in right now, then how about if you don't use his name? If you're going to use his name because you believe in him, you have to have it applicable today. So, how do we apply what Jesus Christ taught? He's one of my people. How do we apply that? I'm not 100% sure because definitely there needs to be order. There's too high a percentage of people in jail or with 1 foot in jail or 1 foot out of jail. How do we do that? I don't know. Don't call together a think tank. They're all fronts. I'm not exactly sure. But you definitely, and I'm going to tell this story because I've only talked 4 minutes over what I should be talking. Another couple minutes. You know this story already. I went to a party. There was a family there. I didn't know them. They were introduced. And they were celebrating also saying goodbye to their son, who was a devout Christian. And he was going into the military the following week. I was like, what's the matter with people? So anyway, he talked to me, da, 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 da. And I said, I don't know what he was saying. And I said, you're a Christian. He said, yes. I said, why are you going into the military? He said, well, I want to. I said, what behavior in the military do you think Jesus Christ would have been happy with? And he kind of looked at me like this, but he was actually thinking. He didn't argue with me. He didn't say, who the hell are you? He just kind of looked at me. And then the following week, somebody said to me, he's not going into the military because of something you said to him. What did you say to him? I just said, listen, don't be running around saying you're Christian and not be Christian. And don't be telling me that I can't say that Trump is a numerology 44, which is higher than Jesus Christ 33. Don't you be getting mad at me and saying I'm disrespecting Jesus. I live more like Jesus than probably practically all of you. So don't be doing that. And by the way, as I said, and I'll repeat it, the Buddha supposedly said he didn't want what his teachings documented because he did not know if they would be contextually valid in the future. The Mayans said we're living in a world, the world that we knew doesn't exist. So why are we trying to turn the teachings of certain masters into pretzels in order to make them applicable and then not follow them? I have to get your act together on that. But I'm talking to the whole country. I'm not talking to Trump. I'm talking to everybody. It's not easy. This life is not easy. The collapse of the paradigm of hierarchy of power is not easy. How do you apply that to a big business? I don't know. When I ran a business that was 33 women, I said I had 33 menstrual cycles I had to deal with. And I think I was pretty fair. I think a lot of people there loved me. At the end, they were like, you know what? I think maybe Francis needs to retire because my head was not there. I don't know if you can do that with a large business. I don't know, but we need to figure it out because we have a lot of large businesses that we do not want to have collapse. So now I want to give you some metaphysical tips. I don't know if you're aware of it, but most of the jeans that we wear are made out of discarded plastic bottles. Oh, yeah, that's such a great recycling. There was some black rapper that started a company. He wanted to help the planet. So all these plastic bottles he was going to have, all of his clothing was going to be made from plastic bottles. How do they do that? They do that. If you look it up, I mean, it's like everywhere. It's not. It turns out that all of our jeans are made out of plastic bottles. Okay, well, what's that problem? Well, petroleum, which is where plastic bottles come from, is thousands of years of trees and animals that's compressed. I think if you look it up, you'll see that in the first three sentences. What does petroleum come from? But all of the animals and all the human beings that end up becoming petroleum have spirits that were never liberated. So all the jeans that we wear are spirit infested. Okay, I have an article on that on my website, francisfox.com. I mean, hopefully it's still there. That website has been under such tremendous attacks that who knows? I cannot keep up with it all without having an assistant. And I can't have an assistant because all the bad guys go after him. So I wear jeans. I look better in jeans and regular fabrics. And I know, I know. So I looked up jeans years ago, jeans, cotton jeans, and they're made up of something that says cotton, but it's not cotton. It says cotton something and something cotton. It's not cotton, it's plastics. I was not even the company that makes the jeans, Levi, there are no cotton jeans. No, 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 no. I mean, I looked this up years ago, but I assume they didn't go back to cotton. I mean, I'm sure they didn't. So the other day I said to my masters, what can I do about the spirits of my jeans? And they said, oh, that's easy. That's easy. What do I do? Just put lavender in the water when you wash them. So that's one of your metaphysical tips. Well, being it that everything that we're wearing is not real, it's not true, there's something called Prima Cotton. And I have a company I buy stuff from online because I can't get to the stores. And I go, oh, cotton, and I buy it. And then I get it in and I go, what the heck is this? Prima Cotton. It's not cotton. Does it have any cotton in it? I don't know. But it's not cotton. and it's not natural. Well, who the hell cares about natural? I care about natural because it doesn't have spirits in it. I don't want to be wearing spirits. I'm already eating spirits. So, lavender in the water. Oh, while you're at it, Trump, when you're not busy doing the mantra, even though it broke my heart, I love and accept myself, and you're not trying to legally put the bad guys behind bars or not operational, could you take care of the issue with the smart appliances? I mean, I think a lot of people will be happy. And you know that there's a CIA director, I think it was Brennan, who said that the smart appliances were stupid. Smart appliances are to document when you get home. Your electricity goes up, you got home, you start turning on lights. But not only that, they operate on microwave, Wi-Fi. What's Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi is a frequency that God gave this planet, but it's really high up. It's not in the dimensions where we have energy bodies. And the reason it's all the way up there is because Wi-Fi breaks open meteorites so that they don't hit planet Earth. This is a really good idea, God. You did a good idea. This is good. Thank you. Ah, but the military grabbed that frequency and brought it down and started to experiment. And they discovered, I think the story is that somebody walked into where they were experimenting. He had a chocolate bar in his pocket and it melted. It melted on his body. And they realized that it can cook things. So now we have microwave ovens, and everybody says, Francis, I don't use my microwave. Great. Dumb as a rock. Everything around you has Wi-Fi, which is microwave, which is supposed to be all the way up there. That's the way God planned it. So you want to do something God didn't plan? Okay, you want to make it better? Fine. Make sure you make it better. How about that ethics that the Atlanteans didn't adhere to, and that's why they're gone and they didn't ascend properly. Back to washing machines. Today, okay, before I go to the washing machine, I have to say, there is a plan that's being discussed to create an issue in my apartment, either a flooding or an air conditioning that doesn't work, at which time I'm going to get a call from my landlord who's going to say, or I'm going to have to call my landlord and say the whole place is flooded or the air conditioning doesn't work. You can't live in Miami without air conditioning. And then they're going to be able to enter my apartment. I picked this up. I started picking it up about a week ago, and last night it was really strong. And I thought, God, I hope I don't wake up to my apartment flooded. What a great excuse. There's no way I can't call somebody and say, you got to take care of this. Because you can't live like that. And also, I'm not saying that the landlord is not great, but I don't do that. If I'm renting a property, I take care of it as if it was mine. So where was I going with that part of it? Letting you know that they have a plan, they have a scheme, they need to get to me, even if it's 5 minutes. Who the hell knows what they're going to do in 5 minutes or 20? We don't know. So how do they get me out of here? Well, that's a pretty good thought, especially since we have neighbors that would cooperate very nicely, thank you. And here I want to say something. When you ask me where I'm from, what I am, I'll tell you Cuban. And if you find out a little bit more, you'll go, Francis, how can you say you're Cuban? You were born in Germany, in Munich. By the way, the city of Nazism. At least that's what I'm told. I was born in that city. You weren't born in Cuba. Your second language is Spanish. No, but my father was Cuban. It's pretty obvious because I look identical. I look just like him. My mother was my stepmother, and she was Cuban. But I could have the option of saying I'm an American, at which time most people would kind of go, oh, that makes sense. But then all the Hispanics would say, you just don't want to say you're Hispanic. I can't win with that. So I choose to say I'm Cuban. And my children choose to say they're Cuban. And my grandchildren, I think, all of them, if you ask them, would say they're Cuban. So everything I talk about with the Cuban mafia is not about Cubans. It's a particular group that were turned into mercenaries by the US government, probably deep state, and now are a problem that I met in the Bay of Pigs, which would have been 1961, or they met me. I was already in the mind control program. The issue is they should have let me go, and they didn't, because they are dumb as a rock, but they're also mind control victims. So they function like robots. Because if I had people check them through the years, and they'll go, nah, and then they'll go, you know what? They're kind of like robotic. Like somebody told them to do this, and that's all they can do. But I want to get that clear because I don't need an entire city of Cubans thinking that I am trying to trash all Cubans, because I'm not. But I cannot make the sentence this long to explain this is the Cuban mafia, but this is how they. It is mainly Cubans. There have been a lot of Venezuelans that have gotten into it, to the point that years ago I met a Venezuelan woman who was trying to get into my circle, and I knew she worked for intelligence, or I don't know if they paid her. And I said to her, you know what? You really shouldn't get into that world because it never ends well. Look at an ex intelligence worker. You tell me somebody who's really successful. Tell me somebody who doesn't drink or do drugs or beat up on people. Show me one. One. You don't. That world is totally against basic human nature. We're all really good people. So, in order to go into intelligence, you have to twist that Christed part of you. Now, I'm going to say something. I don't know how, Trump, you could possibly correct the intelligence community in this country. It's too deep. And maybe you should simply walk away and create another department. Congress is not going to let you do it. You know what? Let's get enough people to do a mantra. You're figuring it out. You're going sideways and backdoor, and that's what you should do. I shouldn't even give you an opinion on or a suggestion on that, because that's the outside world. That's beyond me. So let's review. The United States looks really good. I think we're ready for this eclipse. The United States is not going to be a place where you can see the eclipse. Oh, darn. No, that means that we don't need to be trashed by the energy of an eclipse. Remember, in ancient times, if an eclipse was coming or there was an eclipse, people thought it was the end of the world. God was punishing them. Well, God, if it's true, then God was punishing Texas. That's not a punishment. It's a warning. There's something here that needs to be taken care of. Take care of it, or it's going to get taken care of in ways that you're not going to want, such as natural disasters in Texas. And then it turns out that Texas is the coccyx of the country, which is where magic is created when it connects with the frequency of 988. I think I've talked too much. I am not happy what I found out about Pam Bondi. I'm also not happy about the fact that when I sketched, she's on the left side of the mind, which is totally mind. I don't know what that means, but when I sketched Kellyanne, she was on the right side, and I honestly feel she's a total robot. Anytime you see somebody that it doesn't really matter what happens, they just keep going. But some people, something happens and they go, "Oh my God," blah, 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 and they keep going. But there's a reaction. There's something. They're reacting to the reality of this god awful thing. But when they just like, something's going on there. Doesn't mean they're a mind control victim, but something's going on. So this is it. And I don't think I'm going to have a flooding. And I don't think that there's going to be a fire in my apartment, because my enemies all listen to my chats, which is why I scheduled this chat for 4, and then I gave it now, at 2, so that they wouldn't have the time. I would like to say to Restream, which is where I am streaming from, they are not, let me see if I'm wrong, they are not putting up, see, up here at the upper left-hand side from where I'm at, there's an eye, and if you click it, it tells you how many people are watching this in YouTube and in Facebook and X. They're not putting X anymore. Let me see what their excuse is, because I said to them, listen, my numbers are not, no, here, let's see. They gave an explanation. No, it's not up here. Anyway, so I would like to say to Restream, somebody's going to take all these platforms to the court system. And if I understand what the RICO charges are, that's going to be against them. So Restream, why don't you, I think Restream said something that they didn't want people to get confused, something like that. So the X numbers, and I will look at X right now, and I should be able to see that I am up on X. I am up on X, but the numbers are not documented here. They're trying to control the reach, or at least restrain, which is the name of this platform. That's what it appears. By the way, they're from Ukraine. Interesting. Okay, 40 minutes, 20 minutes over. I'm half Cuban. Thank you.